people like in my circle, other bookkeepers would say, like, why do you wanna hire? That's going to be so many problems.
Welcome to the From Within podcast with Ben Osterveld.
Hey guys, Ben Osterveld here again. I have Tammy Bauer with me on our show today. Hi Tammy, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you're here. I'm so excited to let the world know what you're doing. Let my audience meet you. You've helped me a lot in my business. You're a fellow business owner, and the way I met you was I was looking for someone to do bookkeeping, and I met this girl online. Her name was Tammy, but I wasn't sure. But she kind of followed up 2 or 3 times. She seemed on board. Not many other bookkeepers followed up after I checked in. She's like, hey, how you doing? On Facebook, seemed a little more engaging than I had. And I thought after a few weeks, I thought, okay, I'll have a meeting with her. And that's where so much changed for me in my business. And you've helped me so far. And you're not just a bookkeeper, Tammy. Like, you really are a strategist in business, and you really are an interpreter of numbers. And a lot of bookkeepers just plug numbers in and good luck, but I love what you do. So why don't you introduce yourself, Tammy? Tell everyone what you do, and we'll start from there.
Yeah, so I'm Tammy Bauer, a bookkeeper. I started out as a mechanical engineer, so numbers have always been kind of my thing. I always gravitated towards the financial side of things, and then and always owning businesses. So I owned a sign company, I owned a promotional products company, and then I would always kind of go back to engineering and then back to businesses. So this time when I decided I wanted to start a business with the new technology that's out for bookkeeping, I really wanted to dive into that so I could be more than, just a data entry person. I could bring value to businesses and help business owners take control of their time and cut out a lot of that admin time and expense.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite part. Your company's called what? It's called Because 789 Bookkeeping.
Yeah, that's right.
What's the story behind the name of the company?
So I'm going to tell you a joke first.
Okay.
Why is 6 afraid of 7?
Why is what?
Why is 6 afraid of 7?
Oh my goodness. Why?
Because 789.
Because 789. Is that literally why you named it 789? Oh, yeah. I get it.
Because 789. And in your business, I don't want your 7s to eat your 9s. And it's just a matter of getting that extra 20% out of your business.
Very creative. I love it. I actually didn't ever ask you what. I don't think I even knew 789 bookkeeping. I'm like, that's numbers. I don't know. Yeah. It just, okay. So here's the thing. When I met you, you introduced me to some amazing systems, and that's what I wanted to tell people about now. The issues I had with bookkeepers for a lot of years, and my backstory is that I'm a very, very, very big visionary, and I'm super confident. I'll take on the world. I'll do these things, but details are hard for me, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that. I know when I work with business owners, one of the biggest issues is they really don't know where they're at. They work so hard to make money, but they don't know how to keep it. And I feel like that's what I want to talk about. I want to leave people thinking like, oh, wow, I should probably pay attention to this stuff because marketing is really exciting and growing business is super exciting. But what's the point of like filling a cup that's got 2-3 leaky holes in it? It's where burnout happens. It's that hopelessness that happens. And I've had bookkeepers and I've worked very hard in my life to make sure my business is running really well. And there's always room to improve. I still am learning. The thing is, so with bookkeepers, what they would do is be like, okay, I'm here to pick up your bank statements. I'm here to pick up all your transactions, your receipts, and then they leave. For me, I was that guy that printing off a bank statement was very difficult. It's kind of like it reminds me of Einstein couldn't tie his shoes, like the stupidest little things. I don't know why, but I'd rather leave a piece of mail sitting there unopened. Hence why I have people work for me so I can stay in my magic zone. And that is not, so admin and details are not my zone. So you build around it. So when I had bookkeepers, I would be the problem. I wouldn't get the information to them. And then I'd get them 3 or 4 months of stuff, maybe 6 months of stuff. Then I would miss things. Then my bill would be so freaking high. I'd be like, what the hell is this price? And I'd be so frustrated. And I went through many bookkeepers over, 10 or 15 years of different people. And so when I met Tammy, she introduced me to some systems that I'm like, why is not everyone doing this? She hooked me up to a piece of software that pulled every single one of my statements off all my bank accounts, my credit cards, everything. She had access to all of my statements automatically live. It completely eliminated the problem, which is the guy that's the business owner doesn't do the bookkeeping, doesn't do the tracking. They're not built for that. They're built for their expertise. So that's the first thing that I don't really want you to mention the software or anything. I really think people need to talk to you because I think it's really important that they come to you, Tammy. But that was a huge change that I experienced when it was like, holy crap, you fully automated my bookkeeping.
Yeah, definitely. And, one of the things that I wanted to do when I first started my business was to actually make it easier for business owners. So when I was doing the sign company, I thought about outsourcing my bookkeeping, but back then the software didn't exist. So I was like, well, I'm going to gather up all of this information, tell the bookkeeper exactly what to do. Like, why wouldn't I just do it myself in that time? Like, it's not really taking anything off my plate. So I wanted to actually take off things from the business owner's plate and take that completely away from them so that they can free up their time, free up their energy and their resources.
Yeah, and you did. Like it's unbelievable. I used to always think in the back of my head, oh, I got to get those receipts to them. Now, the next thing you did was you actually got all my receipts. Like I have an assistant. I got a couple assistants. What I do now is I take all my receipts every day or every few days. I drop them on my other assistant's desk. I used to do that system. But then my assistant would have to kind of build this tracking and we would have it organized. Now all she does is she literally puts it into the app that you've provided us and literally throws them away, which is crazy because they're all digital and it's all tractable. And it's like now my receipts are literally in there. I remember I had an audit sometime this year just regarding some gas mileage and stuff. And the time it wasn't in my digital copy, it was a pain in the ass. I had my assistant digging through my receipts and trying to figure out all that crap, even though it was organized by month and all the different stuff, still trying to find it. We still had missing receipts because you know how you carry that receipt around for like 3 months and then when you pull it out and guess what? It's in your wallet. You can't even tell what it is. And then so now it's everything just goes to my assistant and she puts it on the app and the app reads it, categorizes it. And so when anytime an audit comes, because really that's all you need receipts for, to be honest, is audits and returns and returning items, not like tax returns. But, so that's been a huge thing too. So I love how you think, Tammy. I love how you think of automation for serving me. And that's everything we talk about in business from within and the mentoring is how can we blow the client's mind? How do we make it about the client? And that's what you're doing. And I so far haven't seen anything like it. I think you're going to have lots of competition soon, to be honest. I think, you're first out of the gate. I think this is going to be the only way to do bookkeeping for high level business guys, low level business guys, doesn't matter. Just guys that are crazy big thinkers and visionaries and pretty much entrepreneurs. I think this has got to be the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And so back to my sign company, when I was running that, that's kind of where I came up. Well, I didn't come up with the receipt thing, but that was a major pain point for me. It was having receipts. So I would carry around my receipts for months and months. And then I would get home at night and I would see a pile of receipts on my passenger seat. And I would think, oh, great, I forgot to take those into the office today. And then I would, drive around with receipts all the time. And I would forget when I would go to the office and they would just sit there. And then eventually I would bring them in. But I actually bought my car because it had a lot of compartments that I could put those receipts into.
Nice. Well, you know what? And then, it's just taking it off the head. Like so many people have a lot of pressure, especially entrepreneurs, always looking to when's the next money coming in, and you gotta be growing. And maybe there's a staff issue, maybe there's a hiring, maybe there's something going on. And when you're doing amazing, that's great. But there's so many things from a financial side that needs to be taken care of. And it really is like if you're doing it all yourself, you're not a business owner. You're literally a worker in your own business. And that actually leads to some of the stuff we've talked about, Tammy, is that Tammy joined my Business from Within mentorship mastermind and started coaching with me. And it was, even though Tammy was teaching me a lot of things, I got to be able to offer some teaching and some mentorship as well. And when I met Tammy, it was funny because her greatest strength was also a shadow side. The strength of systemizing and doing that. And I met Tammy because she had some online systemizing and marketing. And tell me about when we met, what you were focusing on. And I know you have this amazing way to create content and systemizing, but you were trying to systemize your marketing at the time.
Yeah, so I was trying to build like just too many things. So really I wasn't focusing. So I had like, I don't know, 10 things on my to-do list, like major big things, and I was trying to do them all. So I just kind of felt like a failure all the time, that I wasn't getting
Wow.
the things done that I needed to get done. But really those things, like, they should have each taken a month, and they shouldn't have been on my to-do list to do like this
Mm.
afternoon every single day. So when we talked, you kind of like eliminated most of what was on my to-do list and told me like, what do you need to do today? What can you do by this weekend to move your business forward? And so that helped me focus on what was really important, which was serving my clients.
Hmm. Which is interesting because we as entrepreneurs think, let's grow. How can we grow? This is amazing marketing. Ben, I found this new funnel that we're building. It's going to be amazing. I'm doing an online webinar. And I remember how many things but 9 out of 10 things was based out of marketing. But it was also based out of marketing without talking to people at first. It was straight online. And if you watch online, it's great. But when you're in a service business, it's really about the person to person. Like, it's really about the referral and the person to person. Like, if you're selling a widget, then for sure, funnel them in and have different buying sequences all the way through. They don't buy this way, retarget them, and then retarget them again, give them a new offering, discount, and eventually they buy. That's a widget process, selling something, like a I don't know, like an iPad or whatever. But you're selling a service, so eventually, and you're actually also have to do some consulting. So it's a bit of a different business. So when I met you, I was like, you're treating it more like selling a product than you are selling a service. So the service is about blowing your freaking clients' minds. And I know that's what we started talking about. And if we graded it that way, it was like I always feel bad. So I'm like, yeah, you don't need that, Ben, that's all my marketing. I'm like, no. And I said, do you need more business right now? How busy are you? And you're like, I'm really busy. So why are you spending all your time marketing? You're busy. So it was funny. You're solving a problem that didn't need to be solved.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when I found that I was focusing down on like serving my clients and onboarding and things, if my marketing had worked properly, I would have been completely underwater. Like I wouldn't have been able to serve those clients. And I definitely knew that in the back of my mind, which is probably why those 10 things on my to-do list for every afternoon never quite got done.
Yeah, because maybe you're psychologically scared that it'll work.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I could remember feeling that, like,
Wow.
oh, if I get this client, like, I don't have this stuff in place to deal with this.
Amazing. And what was the stress like thinking like that?
It was really stressful, and it was hard to show up completely when half of you like doesn't want the client and half of you does. So.
Crazy, man. I run into this so much. Like, so many people are trying to grow their business, but their psychological subconscious doesn't want it for some reason. So that's why personal growth and mindset and working on the inside, because it's so amazing. You're like, yeah, if I would have got clients, I actually didn't want them because it stressed me out. Like, we gotta literally complete two things pulling at opposite directions. And like, I don't know why I'm not getting ahead. And so when we started digging into the coaching, it was all about like, hey, what happens when they meet you? And you're like, yeah. So what's the system when they meet you? How do you create that system to be freaking amazing? How do you serve them in the language that we want them to serve them? How do we create an onboarding? How do we create a service that actually serves them for real? Like, and that's the conversations and it took a while. It was not easy work. It was like us going through it over and over again, different things. But the focus changed, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, like remember going through that? We had to change what you called your stuff and going through all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, that was hard for me too, like naming my products and deciding what was in them. And like, I still have to change that stuff, but it's not as big of a deal now. So I just kind of go with it because it's going to evolve all the time. And
that's a mind shift there too. Just understanding it's going to evolve and letting it evolve rather than being rigid. Like, oh, we'll just change it. We can evolve it. Yeah. And we get more clear as we move forward. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about a big one here. And I think a lot of people can get value out of this, and it's hiring. So like it's when would you consider yourself a do it all yourself kind of person?
Yeah, I thought I had to be at a certain level to hire. And that level was like almost unattainable for me without hiring. So, and then also people like in my circle, other bookkeepers would say like, why do you want to hire? That's going to be so many problems. What if they
Crazy.
kill your clients?
So all your peers were giving you objections too, to support not hiring.
Exactly. And like, I find that that's like really common. And when
oh yeah. Every single person I ever deal with, unless they've got a real big business, we're doing different coaching. But yeah, no, like if you're a small business owner, I think every single person needs to hire within a month of starting the company. Like it's like, I really do. Now you get that, right? When I talked to you at first, like, it's like you could see the anxiety, like, wow, it's just shifting your thinking around it and understanding how valuable that is. Better than any marketing you can ever get is to have that assistant or employee.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was just looking at the money going out and not realizing how much it was going to free me up to do more things in my business, bring in more business. And then
which is what you wanted to do. I noticed all the activity you did was online, talking to people and doing your funnel. Like you can't even do that because you didn't have a system that could run.
Yeah.
So now it's like, wow, I can go play. See, it shifts game, right? The stuff you really want to do, you have to put the systems in place. So why don't you talk about how that unfold when you, how did you, and you hired now, obviously you've got.
Yeah. So I hired like completely a simple way. So I just have a contractor and I send them work when I have it and they get it done kind of whenever they can. And if I have more work, I can just hire another contractor. So
I love that mindset.
Yeah, it's not a big thing. I don't have to worry about getting too much work. I have ways of getting that information to them and checking it over. So I really just have to worry about my time, like how much I can delegate, that kind of thing, or oversee. So that's my only constraint right now. And then I can always
we can build systems around this still, Tammy, right? We'll figure it out. Like when it comes down to it, if you got work and you've got people working for you, now it's just about improving the system. Like it's not like your biggest thing that I think personally happened was a mind shift. Just like 99% of the people, it's you struggle. And then like, even how you're talking about it, I wish I could go back and record you because it's really like, oh yeah, no problem. I just hired another one. Like, really? Like, we're talking like 6 months ago, you were not saying this, right?
I wasn't hiring anybody 6 months ago. Like, it was not even in my realm of possibilities. Like, I thought it was a couple of years down the road.
Yeah. And it's funny how I remember I said, just put an ad out. Here's how you do it. And you're like, I got like 100 options. And it was like this moment. Do you remember that? You're like, there's a lot of people I could hire. Look at all these bookkeepers dying and they're going to work for that many hours for that cheap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can upsell their work from that. Oh, and then it's like a light bulb goes on and goes, scaling. I can scale this. Holy crap. There is no limit anymore. Tell me about that moment.
So, like, it was incredible how easy it was, honestly. So I got 91 applications in a day and a half, like crazy, basically. Yeah. And then I filtered them all out and I ended up having 13 interviews, which was way too many.
Way too many.
Never do that to myself again.
Learning again, right? That's good.
Yeah. So I could have just from their resumes, like pared it down to 3 or 4 and then interviewed from there. So I ended up actually hiring 2 of those bookkeepers and it was just really easy. So they kind of know what they're doing. I record a video showing them what I want them to do. They do it and then I look at it and then we're done. Like it's easy.
And because your business is so simple, if you know how to plug the numbers in and know how to do the software, like that's what's so exciting. It's not a technical real thing. It's like a bookkeeping job. It's so repeatable. There's no creative nothing. There's no like opinions. There's no nothing. You just literally hire someone that can take a look at the numbers and plug them in where they need to be. That's why it's so exciting to grow your business. It's simple.
Yeah,
because you're the expert. You interpret them. You meet with the client. You're adding the value, right? And that's cool. I'm so pumped to see that shift happen, and it is a mind shift. It's a mentality. But let's talk about before you hired, you had an opportunity to hire someone, and this is a really good lesson because I get this. It's not just you, Tammy. If so many people's like, I got this person that is in my family, or it's a friend of mine, or it's a neighbor, and man, you know what? They're there. They're wanting to work. I'm gonna hire them, and I say, can you fire them? Is it possible to fire them? Do you remember? Why don't you tell your story about how you almost hired someone before this great story about you putting an ad out and getting actual pros? Let's talk about the process because I think people can learn from that.
Yeah, so this family member came to me and said that they wanted to do the bookkeeping work, and they'd never done any bookkeeping before, so it would be on me to train them, and their skill sets are completely like opposite from bookkeeping. So, and it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So you had told me that I had to hire somebody, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I can just like do
Easy one.
this, and then we'll see what happened. It was still giving me anxiety though. Like I knew it wasn't necessarily going to take anything off my plate because I was going to have to do all the training. So it wasn't like that easy push, like, here, you do it. It was, I do it through another person kind of thing, and it takes twice as long. So I was worried about that. And then when we met, you just told me no.
It was so clear to me. I've just seen it too many times. I remember saying, "No, yeah, Ben, I got someone." Oh, no way. Awesome. Yeah, it's this person. I'm like, okay, cool. So this person obviously has done a lot of bookkeeping before. Oh no, never. I'm like, so why are we hiring this guy again? It was like, but it's very normal. Like everyone just picks the easy one because it's too hard to go through the learning. And it's like, it's almost like I'd rather be skier than snowboard. Why? Yeah. Well, because that sucks learning, but once you learn, it's wicked. Like you've got now two abilities. Like this is the thing. We avoid change. We avoid growth. And I think it's a very thing that holds most people back. I think you lean in, try it, put yourself in tough positions. Like, and then, so that's where me and you, our relationship was, I'm like, yeah, no. I said, can you fire that person? Not really. Much experience? No. Are you really excited about it? Not really. Like, and it was just, it's so cool that moment. Those are the moments that I'm so glad to be just even part of it, because so many people just make one decision. Where would your business be? Let's like just one decision now versus like, that's only been a few months. So it's like to actually look at that one decision. A lot of people wonder like about, hiring coaches and even doing stuff like that. But sometimes it's just one decision you don't make. And it changes everything. But that's, I always loved that when I had my coaches and stuff like that. It's like just that moment of like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. It's just, you knew the answer though, Tammy. You knew the whole time.
Yeah, but I would never have come to it on my own, like without that outside push of, what are you doing?
With my face not hidden. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? You can't do that. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's really true. Hey, like we just need a light shone on the things that we don't want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And it stopped me from making a massive mistake. And I might have had a terrible experience with hiring, and then I never would have wanted to do it again.
And the relationship might have been strained. And this is a very, very important relationship to you. Yeah. And it's like the risk is, I just was like, no, like I was like strong because I know, I'm like, no, you're risking a relationship. You're risking your business. You're not growing. There's so many negatives about making the easy hire. Like I even tell people, if it's the perfect person, I still want you to hire so you can go through the process. The process is the learning.
Yeah. And it really was like, and it was important for me to see how easy it was to hire somebody.
That's right. 100%. Business is easy. If we can believe that, it's not that hard. So that's cool. Now, if you were to talk to a business person, like someone like what would you tell them? Like, if you look at a crazy busy business person, what kind of advice could you give them from a financial side? Like what, if you could, I know that's a really vague question. That's a terrible question, but why don't you see what you can do with that question?
So the first thing I would want to do is look at their financials, and like, if they have financials, if they have any feedback coming back into like their business. So do they need to be this busy? Can we cut down some things and expand profit in one area so that they would be less busy? So I guess what I would do is look at their financials. Like it always comes down to the financials. You can read what's going on in the business from what's going on in the financials.
So what do you find typically with business owners, like entrepreneurs? And I know you deal with a lot of people, from real estate agents to larger companies to all kinds. But what do you find? What do you find some common themes in regards to the financials, to the financial management from entrepreneurs?
So I find that they make it hard on themselves. So they either try and do it themselves and they don't know what they're doing. Bookkeeping is simple, but you need to know what you're doing before you can do it simply.
Yeah.
So, and then they don't have proper numbers coming back to themselves. So they can't see if what they're trying is working, if they're moving forward, if even, so I had one client who, she was a cleaner and she had a team, and she found that she was going into debt the more she operated her business. And the reason was because she was charging too little. Like, so some of her clients were actually like costing her money, like real actual money.
So she would clean and lose money and have the feeling of actually doing something. But then later on, there's no money.
Exactly. So she's actually like doing herself a massive disservice. And that's not even including like her profit as a business owner.
Yeah.
She's just like giving money away. So it's important to identify that area or those areas and what's working in your business and what isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. I've experienced that myself. I remember not even that long ago, sitting down thinking like, Tammy, like we've put a lot of money out, and I don't think I think I'm in not a good place. Like I'm not as what I want it to be. And you're like, Ben, you're killing it. I'm like, I don't see it. She's like, look at this. There's a weird psychology that I've wrestled with lots is that it's like, there's something about being successful, but also experiencing being successful. Like I have a level of success, but in my head, a lot of times I wrestle with knowing I'm successful. Like there's this weird divide. I don't know if it's something I'll figure out in my personal growth and mindset, but what you're helping me realize is by the way that you're showing me the numbers, the way you're interpreting it, I'm going, it really does help my head, Tammy. Like in a weird way, if your bookkeeper doesn't help you with pressure, talking you through different things, showing you different ways to do it, and doing the right projections, like some of the stuff you do, I'm going, okay, cool. So sometimes I'll be stressed right out. Like I'll be putting up massive money. I got lots of stuff going on. All of a sudden we have a dip in the income coming in, and it's like, holy crap. What? And then they're like, Ben, look. Like, oh, okay. So I really think that you've helped from that place as well. Like, and so I can really understand is that, do you make it hard on yourself? Freaking right. I've made it hard on myself on so many ways. And I think that is such a good point. So many entrepreneurs make it too hard on themselves, not just on finances, on everything. Like this so complicating people. They complicate the shit out of things. Like I see it happen over and over again. Sometimes it is just to have a clear head, understand what's real, what's not, what are you making up, what's from your backstory. It's not even real, So it's like you have to almost help someone experience being successful. Like it's almost like you need to have permission to go be successful. Like it's more of a deeper conversation, but in a weird way, I think that you do that.
Yeah, and it takes the feelings out of the business conversation. It gives something concrete to look at and see like, oh, we were at point A, now we're at point B, and like point B isn't lower than point A. So we're doing something that's working. How can we change something to make it work better?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I actually don't endorse people, especially bookkeepers and different things like that. But I'm a big believer in your business, Tammy, and I'm super happy that we met, and excited that you're in my programs and we're working together. I'm excited to see where that goes. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, couple funny questions.
Okay.
If you were to develop a scratch and sniff sticker, what would be the picture on it, and what would be the smell?
Oh my goodness. I've never thought about that before. So I really like lilacs. So the smell would probably be of lilacs. The picture would be like a dog, probably.
So that'd be a weird mind bender.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a dog, scratch it. Oh, lilac. The dog's name is Lilac.
Exactly.
That's funny. Okay, another question. We'll do some quick questions here. If you were to rebuild the school system, what would you change? What are some changes that you'd make? I think we all think about it. That's why I ask. I'm like, we all are not happy with the school system in some level.
Well, I guess I would probably make it just one school system rather than two, like separate, so that we could,
And what do you mean by that? Like having...
So there's Catholic and there's public. So
interesting. Yeah. Just make one.
Even though I really benefit, like I went to the Catholic system and I really benefited from that. It was smaller. It was probably better funded, but so having everybody kind of on the same level would be good. And then I don't really know if I would change much more. Like I found that I got a good
Okay, that's cool.
education, but I'm also an analytical person, so the school system really worked in my favor. So
Okay, that's cool. I usually have people give all kinds of answers, but you're like, yep, it's good. That's cool.
yeah, I thought it was fine. Like I guess making it more progressive, curriculum changes kind of thing, bringing it back into this century rather than teaching.
Totally. My kid showed me a science book, science, and it's published in like freaking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you for real? Science. That's like pre-internet.
Yeah.
Like it's chaotic. It's archaic on some of this. I agree. Bring it into the 20th century. Is it the 20th or 21st? What are we? I don't even know what that even means, to be honest with you. That's cool. So here, let me ask you something. What were you like as a kid?
I was really quiet. Probably not much different than I am now. So I was just kind of like doing my own thing most of the time. I like to ride my bike. I still like to ride my bike. So
Cool.
Same.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, here's one thing. If I talk to someone that knew you, no, let's say this. What would one thing be that people would be like, she annoys me this way? What would be the thing be like, she's annoying?
Oh.
Weird question, eh?
Yeah, it is a weird question. Probably like trying to solve problems all the time. So, tell me what's wrong and you just want to vent. I'm like, okay, well, what can we do?
You're like the guy version. That's what guys do. Trust me, that doesn't work. I tried that with my wife a lot. She's like, oh, man, I've had this problem. Like, boom, do this. We're done.
Yeah.
No, I don't. That's when we like argue. And it's like, I've just solved it. She's like, and I'm like, oh, it wasn't the problem. It was the emotions. You wanted me to comfort you, not solve it. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, that's a guy thing usually.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely
solve the problem
as well. Like, oh, let's fix this.
Nice.
Coming to me for a reason. It must be because you need some advice.
This is something I do as well. I can understand that. So we're coming to the end here, and I always ask every person on my show because I like to learn, I like to be challenged. I think it's the way to grow. I think I think about the butterfly that has changed from a caterpillar. And I think about that caterpillar and I think, what kind of pain and discomfort does that caterpillar go through to become a butterfly? And I think we look at that as such a poetic, romantic gesture of that. He became a butterfly. I'm like, do you know what the frick that looks like halfway through? So I really believe that I embrace the pain of change. I embrace the pain of discomfort. I really, really do. I think it serves us in so many ways. I don't look to be in pain all the time, but that's one of the reasons I ask my guests to ask me a question, because I want to be asked questions. I want you to challenge me. I want you to ask a question. It could just be like, why you're so bald. That's fine too. But that's the reason I ask. So if you have a question, I would gladly answer it.
So what do you think separates you from an unsuccessful business owner? Like, what makes you successful?
Success is such an abstract word, first of all. So if I look at myself, I don't feel like I'm some big success. So maybe that's that thing I was talking about that I wrestle with, to be honest. But what makes me successful, first of all, is I'm really real. I also really know how to communicate my honest truth to people. And I'm not scared to speak the truth without judgment. And I think when it comes down to it, success is first of all based in authenticity and self-awareness. Scientifically proven, studies done on it. I think that's where I lie, is that if you're not good, like, I'm me, that's my mission. And I think that's what separates truly successful people from people that aren't, because you'll know how to position yourself. You know how to put yourself in places where you know you're going to win because you know who you are. So what separates me is that. And then the other thing is, if I'm doing something I love, I can go 50,000 miles an hour in the right direction. If I'm doing things that I don't like, it's like a big dead weight, lazy bum. So I will let go of shit so fast, even if it's making me money, doesn't matter. Alignment is probably one of my greatest strengths that I will work on the rest of my life. And I think alignment makes you go faster, makes you excited about your day every day. So I think success for me is my energy, is my guidance, alignment, and absolutely know how to communicate with people honestly. So I think that's That's me, and that's the answer. So, but successful is something that I work on. Like being successful is, I don't see myself. I was a street kid. I almost see myself as a street kid versus some big success. So maybe there's a yin and a yang to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Tammy, thank you very much for being on the show. Is there anything else you want to talk about? We're going to have your links in the episode notes, but what's your website, Tammy, for the people that are listening?
It's www.because789.com, and that's the number 789.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Let's wrap it up, Tammy. Thank you so much. We'll put stuff in the notes. And you have any final words to say?
Look at your numbers. They're important.
Look at your numbers. They're important. Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you.